Your captain, Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. People, really happy to have everyone here. This is our weekend 3 o'clock. You know, sorry. You know what we do on the weekends. We do a 3 o'clock call. The reason for which is, in theory, we want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to get on live feeds, and not everybody has the ability to get on the ones that we do at normal times. So we try to make sure that we get one up and running early, a couple of days a week, so that everyone has a chance to get on there. And we let our hair down a little bit. We try to have a little bit more fun on the weekends, and I try to get more questions answered, because I think it's sort of a better forum and a better time to actually make that happen. But that being said, before we get rolling today on the subject matter, first of all, welcome to everybody that's here, right? I see a lot of the usual suspects, but there's a name that you're not going to see today among the usual suspects, and that is Lady Fiona Crispin will be conspicuously absent from today's live feed. And the reason being, she is suffering with a migraine headache, a really bad one. And I would like to call everybody for some positive thoughts, prayers, energy, everything that you do, because she's really, really hurting. And we would like to to pull for her so that she doesn't have to end up going to the hospital, which where she's at in Australia would mean a very long time in a waiting room and dealing with a lot of stuff that she's really, really hoping to avoid. And I've said so many times that the biggest shock to me was just how quickly you can build bonds with people. I didn't see it coming that you would be able to care so much about people that you've never been in the same room as. That one really has taken me by surprise. But it's a fact, and I can't begin to tell you, just how much I care for Fee. She's just such a kind person, and I'm preaching to the choir because you all know her so well from the comment section. She just always has, something nice to say, and she's always there for everybody that needs her, always. And right now she needs us. So thoughts and prayers, please, for Lady Fiona Crispin. That would really make me happy, and I'm sure it would make all of you happy as well, because she really is probably one of the more popular people on the boat in terms of just being downright kind. Deja, it is good to have you back. We missed you. Miss V, good to see you. Charlie Mullins, always a pleasure. Chi-Chi, you know how I feel about Chi-Chi. Derek, good to see you. Arizona Raven. Stacy Michaels, the seventh son. We have again the usual suspects. It's great to see everybody. You know what, folks? Virginia, great to see you. We have really taken a pretty big leap forward in the last 2 days or so. The crew has grown by about 100 new crew members, and that is about as exciting as could possibly be. We don't like to dwell on metrics and on analytics, but boy, it's hard not to notice 100 new crew members. And what's really cool is that a lot of them have reached out to me privately. A lot of them have sent. Joe Birdwell, good to see you, brother. A lot of people have taken the time to send me an email or a direct message, sort of introducing themselves, and we've just got it. It's once again, the proof is in the pudding. The people who are joining us now and coming on board are just Leisure. Great to see you. Rose, great to see you as well. The people that are coming on are so in the mold, so to speak, of all of you. We really do attract the same kinds of people again and again and again. And some of that obviously is that as addicts, we really are all in the same boat. So we tend to come across people that are very similar to us in a lot of ways. But the larger picture on that is really that you are such a positive group of people. There is so much love in the on the boat and in the comment section and in everything we do here, and it attracts that in return. It really does. So if you see some new names, I know I'm telling you something that's almost pointless to say because you all do it anyway, but let's make sure we reach out and give everybody a hello and welcome to the boat. And Never forget that email's there, people. If there's something going on in your life and you need, the captain or the entire crew to be pulling for you, please don't hesitate, even for a second, to reach out to me and tell me what's going on, because I can't I can't try to help and I can't bring it to the attention of the crew who will love to help if I don't know about it. So it's kind of an essential thing that you all you reach out if there's anything going on in your life. I can't encourage I can't encourage that enough. So, oh, 1 second. Oh, I might have actually got a one of those kind of emails or messages as we speak, people. So you can bear with me because this is a name I have not seen in a while, and whenever that happens, you know that if someone has been out of the fold, it is absolutely essential that we find out what's going on. Okay, sorry. So it is Halloween, people. A lot of people are going to be, doing the dress up thing. A lot of people are going to be going out doing the trick or treating thing, bringing their kids around. I'm sure I'll be turning the lights off and trying to hide from the kiddies. Sorry, but I do that quite often on Halloween. I know that's horrible, but I'm that house. It is what it is. But it's fun to watch the kids go around and do their thing. I am going as a boat captain for Halloween, and we'll probably be doing that every Halloween now for the rest of my life. I think that's probably something that's going to be in the works. So today, people, the subject matter for today's live feed is the little things. You know, we spend a lot of time sweating the small stuff. Saved by Grace, good to see you. We spend a lot of time sweating the small stuff, and we spend a lot of times, sometimes, almost preoccupied, with the small stuff, sweating the minutia to the point that it really becomes an issue in our lives, and we spend far too much time sometimes thinking about things that are sort of irrelevant. If you've been on this boat for any length of time, and I realize that that's probably a funny thing to say because we're just so young, but because of how much content we put up, it doesn't feel like we're as young as we really are. But if you're new to the boat, really new, then you probably have missed the small amount of drama that the boat has been in. You know, there are some people that don't like your captain. It's just sort of the nature of YouTube in general. But there's a group of people that really don't like me. They would like to put videos up where they say that they're looking forward to me being 6 feet under. They say some really awful things about yours truly. The funny thing, people, is that this entire episode of people who dislike me because I had weighed in on the opinion. You know, you take sides in certain opinion things. It's the nature of life in general, definitely the nature of communication. But I have weighed in on the side of disease as to whether or not drug addiction is a disease or not. I personally believe it is. That does not to say that, you had no say in the matter and you were born, with a predestined outcome in your life, because that is not at all what I mean. And I've said this ad nauseum. You people have heard me say this so many times if you've been here, but really what it boils down to, 357, good to see you. What it boils down to is it's a disease of choice, right? And there are many diseases of choice. You can live a lifestyle that will cause you to get diabetes. Two things have to happen. You have to have a predisposition to have diabetes, and then you have to live a lifestyle that is going to cause oftentimes obesity or for your weight to really balloon up. And what ends up happening is that you wind up developing into what you end up blossoming into is an onset of diabetes. Lung cancer can be brought on by people that spend too much time smoking. Now, again, they need that sort of predestined, they have to have the propensity to get cancer, but then their actions, smoking nonstop, can bring on the onset of cancer. With drug addiction or alcoholism or any of the other addictions, it's the same principle. If you have that predisposition, right, that makes you slightly different than everyone else, and then your behavior can turn you into an addict. which is why if you and your best friend do the exact same thing and you drink the same amount every day and all of that, Jim E., good to see you. One of you can develop into addiction and one of you will not. In my opinion, that's because of the addiction as a disease concept. Now, I'm not here to debate that or argue that, but it's very important in what it is I'm about to talk to you all about today. In 1972, right, back before most of you were born, there was a flight. It was an Eastern Airlines flight over the Everglades in Florida. It was Flight 401. It was a L-1011. It's a jumbo jet. It's a big aircraft made by Lockheed. So it's a Lockheed 1011. It's one of those planes that has 5 seats in the middle, and then there's a row on either side. So as opposed to like a 737 where you just have the 2 rows, there's a large section in the middle that people can sit in well. And it carries about, on a full plane, it carries about the number of people who are going to die of a drug overdose today in the United States. So about 260 people at full capacity. Flight 401 was not at full capacity, but there's a lot of people on this flight. And as they started to make their approach into Miami to land, there was a light that didn't come on. And that light tells them that the front landing gear is locked and in place. If that light doesn't come on, obviously you don't want to set the plane down, because when the nose comes down to make the landing, it's just going to hit the ground and bad things happen, right? All of the Joe, thank you, my friend. All of the landing gear needs to be locked and in place in order for a landing to take place that is safe. So when the light didn't go on, 3 very experienced pilots and a navigator started to try to figure out the problem. And the first thing they did was they put the plane on autopilot so that they could, sort of not worry about that aspect of what they were doing. And then they set about trying to figure out what the problem was. They sent the navigator down below into something that pilots nicknamed the hellhole. It's a little hatch that takes you into the guts of the airplane so that he could go down and look carefully to see that the landing gear, the front landing gear, was either in position or was not in position. And as he got down there, he realized that the landing gear was actually locked and in place and safe to land. This is a process. It takes a while. While he was doing that, obviously he was not sitting at his seat. And amazingly back then, the way that things were set up, if your altitude began to drop and you got to a low altitude that was dangerous, a small light and a sound went off, but it only went off where the navigator sat. And the navigator wasn't there to hear that. He was down in the hellhole. What happened is, as they were trying to remove a $12 light bulb, that would be the light bulb that should have told them that the landing gear was locked and in place, somebody nudged the wheel. And when the wheel was nudged, autopilot was turned off. And Flight 401 started very, very slowly to descend. So slowly that, it wasn't something that anyone noticed. And what happened, next was really kind of a tragedy of errors as opposed to a comedy of errors. But one thing after another started to happen that was eventually going to take Flight 401 to the ground, and not on a runway. Flight 401 became the worst airline crash in the history of Florida, and at that time in 1972, the worst in America. There were hundreds of people that died on that plane. But the reason that I bring this story up, people, is it was a $12 light bulb that killed everyone on that plane. A $12 light bulb. They were so concerned that the light was not going on that they needed to take 3 people and a 4th who was down in the hellhole to try to figure out how to get this $12 little incandescent light bulb out and replace it. What they could have done was landed with the light bulb dark, but they were sweating the little stuff a little bit too much. That $12 light bulb became such a focus of what they were doing that everything around them was no longer important. All they needed to focus on was that $12 light bulb, how they were going to get that out of there, get a new one in, so that they knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the front landing gear was in place and that they could land. Now, they had been told by the navigator that was the case. He screamed that from down below, and that could be heard on the recordings. But on his way back up, He never made it back into the cockpit because the plane slammed into the Everglades at about 480 miles an hour. And like all air crashes, there were stories of absolute miracles. If anyone ever lives one of those, one of the things that happens is always bizarre because you hear stories of, the entire plane is dead, but there's one person who walks out without a scratch, and there was many stories like that from Flight 401. The people on the plane never knew this was coming because the Everglades are so dark and it was a very cold night in Florida. There was nothing for perspective to let them know they were dropping. They weren't doing one of these. They were very slowly starting this descent. By the time they figured it out and tried to pull the nose up, no one on the plane even had warning. There was a married couple holding a 2-month-old baby. The woman had the baby in her arms, and when the plane hit and exploded, the baby flew out of the woman's arms. It was not restrained in any way. And the story of that is amazing because as the panicked husband and wife went and looked for for the child, the husband came back with a baby in his arms, and the wife was, beyond herself with joy, but only to find out that it wasn't theirs. It was a child that was about 6 months old. Amazingly, both of those kids lived. They found their daughter about 300 yards away from where the plane had crashed, alive, 2 months old. Came in at 400 plus miles an hour and survived that crash. And I had to tell you that because as I was reading the story and researching this, she graduated from Tufts University last year, that little baby. But the amazing thing to me is that $12, right? It was a $12 stupid light bulb that did not need to be replaced at that time. And it killed hundreds of people and changed the lives of countless people, right? There are people who are still hurting from that and will forever. It's amazing, isn't it? Let me tell you something, people. Whether or not addiction is a disease or not is a $12 freaking light bulb. Who cares? Is it worth arguing to the point where people wish you dead? That's sweating the small stuff just a little too much. Don't you think? I mean, really, what the important thing is landing the aircraft. Or in our case, what the important thing to do is to try and help people get sober. You can call it whatever you want, right? You don't want to call it a disease. The crazy thing is we all agree that choice is one of the driving factors. The only difference is that they believe that choice got them the entire way there, where I believe that choice and a genetic predisposition got you there. And for that, people, they wish I was dead. For that, people, I get death threats. And I get an email every night at midnight, or 12:06, from someone who tells me that it's not a matter of if, but it is a matter of when, that the captain will die with a needle in his arm. Over a $12 light bulb. Over a word. One word. Had I come out and not said that word, had I said anything else other than that word, we would have been in dead lockstep agreement. Now look, if you have been privy to all of this, you probably really know that it has a lot less to do with that word or anything else. It's the fact that the lifeboat is successful. It's that the lifeboat is doing what it's set out to do. And the people who disagreed with me so vividly or vigorously maybe, on the issue of disease, have not been particularly successful in trying to do kind of the same thing. But what it really boils down to, folks, is even if that's the case, we're sweating the little things just a little bit too much. So as you start this new life and you start this new process, may I recommend wholeheartedly that one of the best rules you can make for yourself is don't sweat the small stuff. Another really good rule is 99% of everything is the small stuff. You understand what I'm saying? We got a crew member right now that has such a bad migraine that she literally can't type, right? She can't do it. But that's not the small stuff, right? These are the kind of things that is really that is really one of those things. Seventh Son, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. Full of hope. I did not see your name earlier, I don't believe. If I have welcomed you already, it's because I'm a squirrel and I can't remember things from one second to another. However, if I have, allow me to welcome you again. Good to see you. the fact that we have a crew member that's hurting, that's not the small stuff. When we start talking about people whose lives are being affected by pain, people whose lives are being affected by addiction, that's the big stuff, right? How we talk about it is the small stuff. And may I suggest that what we're doing here is a big enough undertaking that there is no point whatsoever in getting hung up on things as insignificant and as small as verbiage, right? Honestly, it makes absolutely no sense. And the sad thing, people, is that I can sit here until I'm blue in the face, and I can talk about what this means to one person or another, or my opinion on this or not. But that's the small stuff. It really is. And I'm getting better, and I hope all of you get better at not sweating the small stuff. There is enough big stuff in the world. So, and there's the example that I used again is, because it's really right on my frontal lobe. The fact that one of our crew member, and for my money, one of the crew members that's really the heart and soul of the boat, and very much the live feeds. Lady Crispin is hurting, and thoughts and prayers, please, for her. I know I've said that 4 times, and I'm probably going to say it 4 more. I would very much be happy if everyone is keeping her in thoughts and prayers. We would like her back on the boat as soon as possible, because it's just not the same boat without her. So, but as to the little things, people, when we go from page 2 to page 3, when you start to develop your new life, one of the things that that will jump out at you is that you are going to be an emotional wreck. There are going to be so many emotions. Hunter Haas, good to see you, my brother. There are going to be so many emotions that tear you apart. For so long, we don't deal with our emotions. It's not something that the addict has to deal with. Every time something gets a little bit too good, a little bit too happy, that'll get leveled out by the drug of choice. Anytime something is too sad or too frustrating, that gets leveled out by the drug of choice. Sorrow, guilt, all of these things just get smoothed out. And what you're left with is somebody that basically doesn't do the emotional roller coaster at all. There's only 2 emotions. Hunter Haas is throwing virtual candy at everybody. That a boy, Hunter. Appreciate you. I assume that's candy corn. And I'm not taking any flack from anybody. This is candy corn day. Do you understand? Yeah, this is absolutely candy corn. 99% is small stuff and worthless. Human nature seems to worry about the 99% of everything. Jem, I couldn't say that any better if I tried. We really do get hung up on the minutia, people. We get hung up on the stupidest and smallest of things, and the important stuff is not the things that divide us. The important stuff are the things that unite us. I can't hammer this home enough. The example that I just gave is this big in the scheme of things, right? Should we talk about one that's the same size? Okay. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. How you feel like voting within the United States is this big. It is. I don't care whether or not you think that any of the issues that they use to divide us, and we've done many shows about how there is a vested interest in the powers that be in splitting our country and the world, but definitely our country, into 2 halves, right? And the more they can isolate you into 2 different camps, the happier they are. So let's go right down the list. You've got the Second Amendment. There are people that believe that all guns should be taken out of the United States. And there are people who believe that you do not infringe on gun rights because it is written right into the Constitution. Boom. Let's separate them a little further. And then they want to tell you right from Jump Street that, you know what? White people hate black people. They're going to shove that down your throat. And the sad thing is, you get lumped into that whether you like it or not, because now they're saying it is systemic and it is inherent. You inherit it. You're born that way. Now, whether you believe that or whether you don't, I still don't care. What they're doing is trying to take us as human beings and separate us into 2 groups that are super easy to market to. And if you think it's anything other than that, then I'm sorry, but you're being foolish. They want to be able to sell you soap. They want to be able to sell you cars, and they want you to pick the airlines that are advertising on their station. So you've got the people on the news, they don't tell you news anymore. They are wrapping up a product to push on you. And to make sure you stay there, they separate us into two unbelievable camps with every single news story that they do. And if you happen to lean to the right, you go to Fox News, or you go to Newsmax, or you go to Blaze, or you go to one of those channels that is just going to tell you what you want to hear. Yeah, they'll sprinkle the news in, but instead of saying who, what, where, they tell you why. Right? We've gone over this. There was a school shooting, and it is the fault of the Republicans, because if they didn't have the guns thing, just go one channel over, and you're going to hear there was a school shooting. And if those darn Democrats would allow people to carry guns in certain places, they would have gotten to this guy before he blah, 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 blah. People, I used to sit in a day room in prison. If you're new to the lifeboat, you may not know that I'm a convicted felon. I went to prison for bank robbery and did my time, paid my my debt to society, and now I'm trying to give back for the things that I've done. But I would sit in a day room, and you wear a pair of headphones. You can't just turn the TV up so that people can hear it, because there's 7 TVs, right? There's that way everybody can choose what they want to watch. So you have a digital radio, and it's got 8 different presets on it. So I could toggle back and forth between one channel and the next and do it really quickly. So I would sit, and there were 2 TVs that are about 42 inches corner to corner, flat screens, big TVs, and they're separated by maybe 8 feet. So as you're sitting there looking up, they're in your field of vision. And when the shooting took place in Las Vegas, Nevada, the mass shooting that took place, I guess we're going back three or 4 years now, right? We're going back a long time. But when that shooting was taking place, I was watching CNN, and I was watching Fox, and I was watching them at the same time. And at first I started to toggle back and forth because one would break to commercial. So when they did, I would switch to the one that was not on break so that I could continue to get any news I could about the shooting. And it was astounding to hear how these 2 channels differed in what they told you. In the real world, what they should tell you is just what happened, right? We don't know exactly why this person did this, but the person shot this many people during a concert. He did it from the 6th floor window, and I'm making that up, people. I don't remember what floor, but he did it from the 6th floor window. Instead, one channel just wanted to tell you how if there wasn't a law passed by the Republicans that made bump stocks legal, then this shooting wouldn't have taken place. Then if you went to the other side, you had an entirely different spin from people that said, yeah, this shooting happened, but it was in a gun-free zone. Had it not been a gun-free zone, somebody would have stopped this guy. I mean, you literally had 2 people, 2 talking heads, who had 6 or 7 talking heads below them, and they would go to them just to get, the opinion that they wanted to push out, so that they could divide us into 2 different groups and market to us. The sad part of this, people, is we're buying into this crap. As a country and as a world, we're buying into it. We spend so much time, Saigon Cinnamon, I don't believe I said hello to you. I love you, my brother. We spend so much time allowing them to divide us that when we turn the damn set off, right? Which, by the way, you should never turn back on. That's just my humble opinion. Don't watch that stuff. Why would you watch anything that you knew was propaganda trying to program you? And I'm not picking a side. Turn them both off, right? Turn them both off. But anyway, when we turn off CNN or we turn off Fox, it doesn't turn off. They have been so effective in what they have done that there are families now that will not invite so-and-so to dinner because of who they voted for president. Or they will not invite so-and-so to dinner because so-and-so is pro-choice and the other person is pro-life. What has happened as a world, as a country, where you now must hate someone who disagrees with you? That's the small stuff, people. That is the small stuff. Today in America, 263 people, average, are going to overdose and die on drugs. You know what that is? That's freaking big. That's the big stuff. So if your approach to sobriety and my approach to sobriety are different, who cares? Who cares? The word disease is such a big deal to you that you hope I die. Wow. Wow. People, the big stuff, the big stuff. If we as a world, if we as a country, if we as a boat can concentrate on the big stuff, and if you happen to be Muslim, or you happen to be Christian, or you happen to be a Buddhist, or you happen to believe in Krishna, or Brahma, right? Or whatever, or the Grateful Dead. I don't care what your approach is to your spirituality, right? That's your business. Not that it's not huge. It may be the most important thing in your life. But the fact is, it's immensely personal. It's a decision that is something that you do and that you make. Why in the name of God? Who's ever God? Why in the name of God should that be my business? I have told you my belief in God. And I have said, if you would like to hear my belief in God explained to you in greater detail, email me. I'm not going to shove it down your throat because it is an immensely personal thing. However, there are places all over this world and all over this country where if your God is not the same as my God, I need to hate you. Can you imagine it is a book, right? A spiritual book, a guide to how to live a better life as a human being that told you to hate someone that didn't believe what you believe? Good God. This is where we're at. The small stuff. The small stuff. I got news for you. Everybody listening to the sound of my voice has a couple of things that they're guaranteed on this planet. One is they're going to tax you. There's no way around that, right? We're going to pay taxes. I don't care where you live or what's going on. You're going to pay taxes. And you know the other inevitability, right? Death. We're all going to die. It isn't going to be today, but we're all going to die. Between today and the time that that happens, how about if you just make a vow that you're not going to hate or treat anyone poorly because of a disagreement? Simple, right? Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people on this planet that need to be run out of your life. If you caught my video that I did this morning, I read something that I got from Fiona. Fiona had sent it to me, and it's also posted in the lifeboat over on Facebook. And if you haven't heard, people, I'll paraphrase it because I don't have it in front of me. But what it basically says is if you have somebody into your home and they badmouth the decor of your house, or they start breaking things, you don't have to hate them. But you're certainly not going to invite them back into your home, right? Pretty simple. If they're going to hate you, if they're going to destroy things, you don't have to hate them, but why would you have them back in your house? You wouldn't. Okay, your home should be treated the same way as your life, your mind, your heart, your soul. If somebody comes and starts to infringe on your happiness, if somebody comes and starts doing things that are going to mess with your mind, you don't have to hate that person, but you need to get away from them. If they're going to jeopardize your sobriety, that's a big one, people. That's not the little things. That's the big things. However, you don't have to hate them. In fact, I can't think of very many reasons when hate is justified. Now, before you all start writing down all of the reasons that hate is justified, we know what they are, right? If somebody messes with your family, if somebody messes with a child, if somebody is mean to an animal, there are things worth hating people for, in my opinion. There are. I'll never get over that. It is what it is. But there aren't very many of them. And let's be really honest, that doesn't seem to be why most of the hate is going on in this country. It goes on over stupid, stupid things that they're able to divide us on. Let's concentrate on the things that we all have in common. There's a reason we named this puppy the Lifeboat, right? We're all in the same boat. All of us. Republicans, Democrats, blacks, whites, whatever. Addiction is the boat that we all had to be in. The lifeboat is a place where we can concentrate on that and leave the little things the hell off of this boat. There's another reason I bring this up. There was a comment in the comments section. You may or may not have seen it because I got rid of it, which is ironic. You'll get a laugh out of that in a second. I deleted the comment. Why would I have deleted the comment? I deleted the comment. It fell under rule number 4, and that would be the mean people suck rule. We don't allow people to leave messages that are mean for the sake of being mean. It's just not something that I do. But this gentleman, I use that term really loosely, but this gentleman has a beef with me to the point, by the way, where he would like to kill me. He made a few videos saying that he would like to literally kill me. But this person's beef is that I stifle free speech, which is something that people died to protect in this country. Make no mistake, a lot of people died so that we could have free speech in this country. I, however, have never done anything to hold up people's free speech. Pay attention, those of you lurking, okay? I'm not talking to the crew now. I'm talking to the people that don't leave comments, and more than likely they can't because I've already blocked them, but they're here. They come every day, and I do appreciate it. Free speech protects your right to say whatever you want in the public square. Do you understand? You can go in the public square. They used to talk about it standing on a soapbox. You can go into the public square, put down a soapbox, stand up on it so you're a little bit higher than the crowd, and you can make a speech about anything you want. That is the First Amendment right in the United States of America. Right? This ain't the town square, people. This is not the town square. This is your boat, and it's my boat. And I am going to protect the people on this boat from people who are going to mock them or people who are going to be cruel, because we talk about things on this boat. I hearken back to Rampage's goodbye letter. You think I want lowlives who just want to say mean things to listen to that letter? Think about it. Free speech ends at the gangway, right? The gangplank that takes you onto this boat. Stay on that side of the gangplank, say whatever you want. But when you come onto this boat, you don't have a First Amendment right. This isn't the town square. It isn't. This is something that is actually registered in my name. Now, if you would like to be able to say whatever you want, start a YouTube channel, and you will be able to say whatever you want on your YouTube channel. You will also be able to restrict anything anyone says on your YouTube channel. I miss Rampage too. He's here. Rampage, it's the time difference makes it an issue, but you will be seeing Rampage. He is a rock solid part of this boat. He really is. In fact, Rampage sent me an email that said, would it be okay with you if I put TLB after my name so that it now says Rampage TLB as in the lifeboat? Man, he is now in jail. I just spoke to Rampage. When did Rampage go to jail, people? If that is the truth, I just had an email from Rampage. My goodness, great guy. I will be having to research that. If that is the case, people, we need thoughts and prayers immediately for. Oh no, it's Miss V's ex. Thank God. People. Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to lie to you, that messed me up. Okay, Rampage is good. Yeah, well, your ex probably should spend maybe another holiday or two in jail. People that hit women, it's a good place for them. I'm sorry, people. I see what I mean by I squirrel. It's absolutely awful. And, of course, I most assuredly derailed. No, what I was talking about was your First Amendment rights. You have them. You have all kinds of rights, but not on this boat. On this boat, you can say whatever you want if you're not pushing your particular religion or talking bad about someone else's. If you're not talking about politics, as in this party's better than that party, or this president stinks, that president was great, any of that. And you're not going to come on here and drop F-bombs. I don't want that kind of language. I don't think it's healthy. A squirrel that eats candy corn, especially this day. I don't think that language has a place in this environment. Do whatever you want anywhere else, but on the boat we don't allow cursing, and I don't allow people to be mean for the sake of being mean. Other than that, say whatever you want. You can come on here and disagree with me. Be articulate. Don't curse, and you can come on here and disagree with me. That's okay. But if what you're doing is just trying to disrupt what's going on this lifeboat, well, then you gotta go. I don't have to hate you, just like this morning's video. People, if you didn't see this morning's video, you need to. You really, really need to. Because what I read on there is just awesome. It really is. It came from Fiona. Keep her in your thoughts and prayers. And she posted it over on the lifeboat on Facebook. By the way, that has been growing and growing, and we're super happy about that. It really is another great forum where the speech is protected, right? I mean, we keep people from having to deal with the same kind of negativity that is all over Facebook. And it's a place that people in recovery can go. Jesse Stinson says, when will my brother be with me in person again? You know what? That's a difficult thing to answer, because my brother Johnny, pardon me, people. Sorry, foghorn. My brother Johnny has a little YouTube channel with, I don't know, 110,000 people or something following it. I have not been there in a long period of time, so I'm at least over 107,000 people. So Johnny tends to stay somewhat busy with what he's doing, and he travels to festivals and things, but we are working on it. I'm not exactly sure when, but I will let you know. I see Good Gospel 14. He said, is this Wages World channel? This channel is called The Lifeboat. If you are looking for just Wages World, where all that is discussed is space weather, that is where you want to go, to Wages World. However, my partner is Mark Wages, and Mark and I have a boat that everyone is in, right? We're all in the same boat, and the lifeboat is a place where we talk about sobriety and all things related to that. However, if you're looking for space weather, you're looking for Wages World. But Mark is most assuredly, this is his channel as well. And I can't say enough. In fact, we do another live at 6 o'clock. Please go out of your way to make Mark turn really red. It's funny, people, when we do the lives and I'm actually on the boat instead of in my office, I see Mark the whole time I'm talking to you, right? The way that I record this, there is a screen about this big, right, next to the camera. Thanks, y'all. I'm sober. Excellent. Most people here are sober, so we're glad to have you. There are people here that are 2 days sober. There are people here that are 4 hours sober, and there are people here that are 25 years sober. But either way, really great to see you here. If you want to stick around, we'd love to have you. If not, please do make sure you check out Wages World. He does amazing, amazing work, and I'll say that to everybody. If you have not been to Wages World, you really, really need to go and check it out. But could not be any happier that you're sober, my brother. That's awesome. It really is. So people, tonight when I go live at 6 o'clock, the way that I film, the camera's this big, but the screen that shows me and what you people are saying is, I don't know, it's got to be like probably a foot by a foot. It's big. And the whole time that I'm filming, Mark is right there, right? I look at his face, which is why I see the bobblehead thing as he agrees with with all the different things that are being said. But whenever you guys start dropping nice stuff, Miss V, 2 weeks sober. Uh-oh, you know what that means. Well done, Miss V. Couldn't be more proud of you. Couldn't be more proud of you. Can't wait to see you in your Never Quit Quitting shirt. Those should be going out any day, people. And they were supposed to go out. No, I'm sorry. They should be going out literally tomorrow. It should have gone out a little bit sooner than that, but we're having supply chain issues. Not me, them, the entire country. We're having some serious supply chain issues. But back to Mark. When you people put something nice in the comment section about how much Mark helps this channel or how much you love Mark, he gets this. You can watch the red just literally start to drop down from his head, to his chin. He just Bex, good to see you. He just starts turning red instantly. So he's not here, which is why I'm in the office. When we do the 6 o'clock feed, make sure you come on and really give a shout out to Mark. Not just because I like seeing him blush, but I'm not going to lie to you. I really do like seeing him blush. No, the reason that we need to do a shout out to Mark is what he has done behind the scenes for this channel in the last 5 days is astounding. I kid you not, people. Mark does more for the lifeboat than I do. Consistently. Day in, day out. Mark puts more effort into this. Mark spends more time on this. And it's, I'm kind of the face, right? Because I'm in front of the camera. I get, everybody just sort of, this is the Tommy Scoville show still, and it's not. It's the lifeboat. But I can't begin to tell you how much Mark does here. I can't. There's no way to explain it. And day in, day out, what he's doing behind the scenes, and honestly, people, I would love to just say to you, let me tell you exactly what he's doing right now, what he's working on, what is about 21. I love it. Chi-Chi, everybody, when it comes on, put Mark wages or Mark, and then give him a 21 anchor salute. Everybody. Absolutely. Please do that tonight at 6 o'clock. That will make my day. I'm telling you. Folks, there's no way to put into words how hard this cat is working for this boat. There are some huge things that he's in the process of putting together that require all kinds of legworks, all kinds of running around, reaching out to people, talking to people. He is seventh son is closing in on his 14th day, as in 13 days, 18 hours, 56 minutes. Seventh son. And I talked about this the other day, but I'm going to talk about it again. Every once in a while, when somebody makes a misstep, it really gives you a better idea of just how committed the person is. I mean, honestly, the misstep that seventh son made, people, for someone whose drug of choice was alcohol, to take a sip and then realize just how much they have on the line and screwing it up. I'm sorry. And it's just an amazing, amazing thing that he was able to pump the brakes at that point. That says so much about his commitment to sobriety. Honestly, that one sticks with me. I end up thinking about it all the time because as long as I've been doing this, it's just not a story you hear. It's very, very rare that somebody says that they were able to pump the brakes that fast. That's just an amazing, amazing thing. And I am really, really proud of you for that. It really is just something that is beyond belief in terms of a commitment. And I am absolutely beside myself proud of seventh son. And just keep it up, my brother. Keep it up. We know that... Be honest with me, Tommy. How old do I look? I'll be really honest with you, brother. You have a thumbnail this big. Tell you what, shoot me a picture to my email, and I will put you on blast for the entire boat. I will be, brutally honest and tell you exactly how old I think you look. But I don't really... sorry, people, but my tripod... There we go. I think my tripod is actually... It is. See this? This is professional stuff here, people. Welcome to the lifeboat. I'm watching the camera do this one. Hold on, people. Unbelievable, but it has to happen. So, how about we do this number right here? There's something you don't see every day on YouTube, huh? We're the lifeboat. But I'll tell you something, people. I'm watching it go like this, right? The small stuff. I'm not doing the small stuff. So, there we go. Yeah, that's the small stuff, people. We're not sweating the small stuff. We are doing nothing but, oh my goodness. People, trick-or-treaters just went to my door. I just watched him walk by the office window. For the love of everything good, it's 4 o'clock. How do you hide from someone at 4? I can't even turn the lights off. Sorry, people, I got sidetracked. Just curious, do people in prison get internet access? People in prison, this is a question from 357. Do people in prison get internet access? I can talk to you about federal prison because I was not in a state run facility. As a bank robber, I went to federal prison. In federal prison, what happened is you're allowed to make emails, to send emails, and they have a dedicated system where you can send emails to loved ones. It takes about 2.5 hours for your email to get where it's going because it is read by people along the way and to ensure that you're not doing something stupid or whatever. And then when the person responds to you, it takes another 2 hours for somebody to read what they are sending into you. So yeah, the ability to do that is something that you can send emails. You're certainly not surfing the web. There is nobody in prison watching what I'm doing right now, I can assure you. And if they are, they're cheating somehow. There are a lot of cell phones floating around in prison that aren't supposed to be there, but there are a lot of them. The seventh son, the brain plays tricks, like telling you that you do not have a disease. Yeah, right, brain. I'm not buying that stinking thinking. Full of hope. Beautiful. Absolutely a beautiful comment. It is amazing to watch what the brain does in order to try to keep you in the disease. I know that it seems odd that the brain would want you to continue to do something that would damage yourself, but it's kind of the defining characteristic of addiction, right? The more research they do, the more they realize that the biggest problem is right in the reward center of the brain. And to, once that reward center starts to reward you for doing the wrong thing, you're off the track. And it really will tell you every form of lie you can possibly think in order to try to get you to use. As a person whose drug of choice was heroin, the first thing that the brain does is go right to the pain, because it realizes that since your drug of choice is a painkiller, if I can just make him hurt or make her hurt as much as I can, that addict will probably tap out. And that's one of the most difficult things for opiate addicts is, dealing with all of the pain that the brain is going to create. It's not real pain. It sure as heck feels like real pain, but by not real, what I mean is there's no mechanism. You didn't break something. It's just your brain giving you the same phenomenon as if you had injured yourself in hopes that you feed it the drug that it wants. It's really kind of bizarre. Jimmy says, it's crazy to watch yourself ruin almost a lifetime of accomplishment in a matter of a few hundred bottles. Boy, oh boy, man. Boy, oh boy. And it's... it really is one of those things that, it can happen. He's obviously referring to the alcohol as being the drug of choice. But Jim, I'm telling you, this is a phenomenon that happens to everybody. If you sit back and you really start thinking, it's really, really amazing how many people, short-circuited their entire life for one hit, one snort, one smoke. There are 500,000 cliches, right, around addiction and recovery. And most cliches are there because there's so much truth to whatever the cliche is that it stands the test of time and we continue to use it. But one of the greatest cliches ever is, one's too many and a million isn't enough. And that was really the story of my addiction more tthan anything. So many times I got sober, but then went back and then went back and then went back. And when you go back, I'm just going to do one. I'm going to do it today, but I'm not going to do it tomorrow. We've all done this. Everybody, goes through these lies that your brain tells you, just like, yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't have a disease, blah, blah. But, for me, it was, I'm just going to do this today, right? Just that one hit. Well, that one hit, right, was way too many. And then, 15 years later, literally $1 million worth of dope later. And I know people, shake their head at that. People, if you start doing the math at the kind of money that people can spend on drugs, it's, there were large periods of my life where I was doing 6 to 7 grams of heroin a day, and at the end of my addiction, 7 grams of heroin was probably about $280. But there were times where 7 grams of heroin would cost you $2,100, and it's just the fact that it keeps getting cheaper is a frightening thing, because it tells you just how much of it is getting into the country. And basic supply and demand. There are so many people trying to get into the drug business that there is. I mean, and it's because of the demand. It's the reason that there is a lifeboat. The belief of Mark Wages and myself is that if you're going to I'm sorry, I know I'm squirreling, but how many drinks does it take to get me drunk? A one, because after one, I cannot stop. My brother Johnny has said many times that after, Johnny was an alcoholic, and he's been sober now for years, but he said that he would only have one drink ever, because the second drink that he had was really the first drink, having a second drink. Like, he would have one beer, and that beer would drink the next beer, because once he had the first one, the control had been turned over to alcohol, and he no longer had any control. So, he would say, I only take one drink, but then that drink is going to drink. And as far as cliches go, one of the other ones, people that, I used to use, and I used to use it as a joke, but it, now that I'm sober and I look back on it, it's just so true and so honest. But I used to say, take the money you spent a week, times that by 52 times, and then for all the years. Brian, I don't even like thinking about it. I really don't. It's not something that, it's just one of those very difficult things. But one of the things we used to say is, I would do a shot of heroin and I'm a new man. But the trouble is that new man wants to do a shot of heroin. And that really, I think, for people who are addicted to opiates, that really is sort of the crux of everything, Yeah, you do a shot, and that new man is going to do a shot, and that next new man is going to do a shot, and that next new man is going to want to do a shot, and it just continues to go on and on and on and on. And we know that. We know that that's the nature of addiction, and that's the nature of this illness, whatever you want to call it, people, right? The small stuff, whatever you want to call that particular phenomenon. Jimmy, Deja says, the fact that you are here says something. You have a purpose, brother. You are worth so much. I can't disagree with that. It's people, everybody, right? There's not a person walking this planet right now breathing who isn't worth so much, right? It's what we decide to do with that. And so many times we throw that gift away. And one of the easiest and fastest ways to do that is just to head down the road of addiction. One of the fastest ways to short circuit any hope of living your best life, the fastest 0 to 60 that you can possibly do that with is going to be going with drugs and with alcohol. It's it's just one of those things, people, and it's what puts us all in the same boat. It's the reason that we're all here. It's the reason that we continue to come back. So people, we're getting to the top of the hour. We're getting into that time where the captain leaves his office, goes, grabs something to eat real quick so that he can come back. Brian says, I did the math for myself, and my, oh my, the money. Yeah, you know what, Brian? It's astounding. Those apps that they have for people who get sober, apparently on those you can put in how much you were spending, and it will tell you how much money you've saved since getting sober. I don't even want to do the math, because for me it was so long. It was the number of years, the number of decades that I spent just enslaved, to that stuff. I'm just so blessed to be free of it, and so blessed to be here on this boat. And if you've noticed, everything is kind of tipping. The lifeboat really feels like a lifeboat now. I'm gonna have to fix this tripod, people. So we're gonna go live again in 2 hours. Do me a favor, folks. 21 anchor salutes all around. You hear me? 21 anchor salutes for Mark Wages and for everything he is doing for this channel. Before I go, Jim E., I'm so happy you're here, my brother. I hope we see you again on the next 1 hour cruise of the lifeboat. You really you had a lot to say today that was good stuff. And the lifeboat is as much about giving back as it is about receiving. And the wonderful thing about all of the people on this crew is the fact that there's a great give and take. We really would love to have you back here, Jim. We really would. So, people, I am Captain Tommy Scoville. Between now and the next time that I see you, you know what I want you to do? Get me some candy corn and try to save somebody. Alrighty, everyone. We'll see you. We'll see you on the lifeboat in 2 hours. God bless. I'm out of here.